And the only thing that really stopped me was thinking, my God, my kids are going to come home from school and find me this way.
Jeff's frustration and anger really had reached a peak. At the same time, his wife expressed to my wife concern, and then to me directly, that Jeff was very negative at home. He seems hopeless. He does not see a path to the future. As soon as I had that cue, plus my own personal interaction with Jeff and his decreasing physical performance on the job, I knew that we had to take him for professional care. So basically what I did is I called directly over to mental health. I saw them and I told them, if you're not able to help him immediately, if you are not capable of making this happen here, then you need to call me immediately. If he's non-cooperative or doesn't show up, contact me immediately. I will be involved in this until we get him to the person or place that we need.
It wasn't until Colonel Pinnell noticed and helped me find the right person on Fort Polk. And Colonel Pinnell knew about the program in Washington, D.C., Deployment Health Clinical Center, and he recommended that I go to that. It felt like the cat was out of the bag, and there's no way I can put it back in. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And believe it or not, about 100 pounds of weight came off of me right then.
It wasn't until he came back from his evaluation with the DHCC that he was really excited about the program, that I started to see a little bit of hope in his eyes. And he asked me to go with him. And that was hopeful for me, because at that point, I didn't know where we were going to be by the end of the year.
So Sherry spent group time with us, where she could hear other soldiers saying the same thing that I was saying. She was able to understand that, yeah, there is some pretty dark holes there. And for me to understand that she sat back home worried to death about me, trying to stay strong, trying to have a face for the rest of the family who's constantly asking, how's Jeff doing? And not knowing because I don't call. You know, I could see the stress on her and the strain. And we kind of came to a middle ground where we could start talking about these things. And it helped us. I will tell you that I think that PTSD will grab hold of you without you even knowing it. But I don't think it's an animal that can't be killed. I think that you can defeat it, but you can't do it on your own. I tried to ignore it, and it came back probably tenfold on me because of that. If you ever make it to a program like the DHCC, you're going to see colonels. You're going to see sergeant first class and sergeant majors in this program. And I'm starting to see it at the higher levels of command. They're understanding, wow, we owe these guys a chance to heal.
During my annual physical with my doctor, I said, I got to ask you, the symptoms I've got, should I continue to be having these at this point in time, and are they going to diminish over time, or is just the way it is? And he goes, oh no, you're clearly experiencing post-traumatic stress. And he said, let me get you to talk with the stress management folks, the psychological health folks. And as soon as I met with them, they said, no problem, we've got a very clear protocol, we'll get you on that, and we can guarantee that that when you're through with this, you will feel much better and won't have near the level of symptoms that you're having. So I decided, well, I'll share my own experiences and story on a broader basis. It seemed like it was the right thing to do, and I could use my experience to set the example and kind of encourage people to come forward. But when I mentioned it to my wife, she's the one that kind of said, well, you sure you want to do that? You know, how's that going to affect your career? How's that going to be perceived? And I said, well, it really doesn't matter. If I can set the example and get people to come forward, then it's all worth it, whatever happens. And it was amazing. I expected to get the whole gamut of kind of feedback from one end of the spectrum to the other, but it's all been positive.
I actually thought that I might have post-traumatic stress disorder, but I didn't really think I needed to seek treatment. But Ivana and I were roommates at Balad, so when I came back, I saw that she did a profile, and it just inspired me to get my treatment for PTSD and to tell my story. And I told myself that I can't be an effective leader if I'm not taking care of myself first. So I self-referred to the mental health clinic here, and when the psychologist did diagnose me with PTSD, it was such a sense of relief, because finally there was a reason, an explanation for why I was feeling this way. And it was like a weight was lifted. And I knew that, okay, now I can get the treatment that I need. It's been very rewarding for me to share my experiences, and it's made a positive improvement in my overall well-being. I feel content, I feel peace at I did the best I could when I was there, and that I'm not focusing so much on how many lives were lost, but on how many lives were saved, and that I had directly contributed to saving many lives.
Initially, when I was getting ready to come back, I was very angry and was afraid of what I would face when I came back, people asking me questions, and I felt like I did not want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk to anybody. But then when I came back, I realized I really wanted to tell my story.
You definitely know something's bothering you from a deployment you've been on or something you might have seen over there. It's up to you. If you want to get better, you can get help and get better. When I went to get help, I had more help than I could ask for from my mom and dad, my entire command.
It takes absolute real strength to deal with your own emotions in a mature manner, admit to yourself what you have been through and the challenges that you face, and to step in and encourage others to do it and get them to people that can help.
I think someone shows real strength when they finally realize that they can't do it alone, and that they need, that it's okay for them to get the help that they need. And it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength to improve your mental health just like you improve your physical health. There are some of us out there who have seen the worst of the worst day in and day out, and what you're experiencing is a very normal reaction to a very abnormal situation. And some folks can cope very well with that, and I would say the majority of others have some degree of difficulty coping. And for me, I needed professional therapy, and I'm so glad I did it.